Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. It's Nicola Cairncross here, and I'm on episode 4 now of my Swagger and Soul broadcast. And this week, I want to talk about the you know what on Thursday. And I've got to be very careful on what I say about that. How do you feel about what happened on Thursday? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you elated? Did you not participate? Were you one of the, I think it was about 48% of people who didn't participate? And if so, why not? Was it because you don't believe it would make any difference, or because you didn't believe in any of the people you were offered? Were you even offered an independent in your area? That's the question. So I went along to cast my vote because I sort of believe that after all the suffragettes went through to get a vote for women, that we ought to use it. But I have to say this is probably the last time I'm going to do that because I've been so disillusioned with the system, the first past the post system, that I just can't see the point. I mean, when you realise that the Lib Dems got the same amount of votes roughly as the party that I was picking an MP on, then but they got something like 50 or 70 seats, where the other party only got something like 4 or 5 seats. You just realize how incredibly rigged it is in favor of the long-standing parties. Anyway, got me out of the house. That was the main thing, and it got me using my gimbal for my iPhone, which is a gadget where you hold. I'll show you actually. It's this. Yes, there you go. So it's something, it moves backwards and forwards, so you can hold it upright like that, or you can oh, it's not doing that, it's not the same. Yeah, so you can extend it, so it's quite extendable, and you can put your phone in and it holds it quite firmly. I wasn't worried about it falling out. But yeah, so you'll see that in a minute. I'll take you on a little walk through Shoreham, and something very interesting happened when I got to the polling station. Okay, well, welcome everyone. I'm just off to do this, and one of the reasons I'm going to be voting Reform UK today, apart from the fact that I've got to know a candidate in Penrith and Solway very well, who I've been doing social media for, and is a thoroughly decent bloke, is that they promise they're going to stop this. Can you see behind me? Beautiful, beautiful skies, just as they should be, overlooking the river. Look at my sweet peas, they're coming along nicely, unlike the tomatoes. But this is one of the reasons. This is what I see every single day above the skies of Shoreham and Ada, and it's barium and aluminium mixed with coal dust, and they're spraying it on us every single day, and it drives me up the wall. The weather's been absolutely shit. It's been freezing cold, and it's now 4th of July, voting day, and I'm sick of it. Well, that's just one of the things I'm sick of, by the way. So this is why I've started my new channel, so I can talk about things like this. Anyway, I'm going to take you out with me through the very pretty village of Shoreham by Sea, in between Brighton and Worthing, and I'm going to hopefully show you some of my favourite bits on the way to go and cast my vote this morning. Okay, so walking down one of the older streets in Shoreham now. I'm going to swivel it round and give you a view of the very pretty cottages, and I'm going to go through the church, and I'll be nearly at the place where we have to do the voting thing. So let's give you a view of the Well, that's really interesting, isn't it? See that lovely little gentleman there outside? He just stopped me and asked me for my voting number. I'm a bit concerned that these voting numbers are tying our vote to a particular party, which is surely defeats the whole object. And he asked me, and I said, why do you want to know? Is it an exit poll? And he said, no, it's so that we don't have to come and knock on your door later. And I laughed and I said, really? He said, yes, we'll be coming around to anyone who has got a card but who hasn't voted, to knock on the door and ask them, if they'll come and vote. And I said, oh really? Who are you then? He said, oh, I'm here for the Labour Party. I thought, oh, okay. So I said, so if I hadn't come to vote, you'd have come round to my house? And he said yes. So what do we think about that then? It did the job. It got me out. Unfortunately, my favourite coffee house wasn't open yet, which is Ginger and Dobbs. I'm hoping he's going to be open again soon. He went through a bit of a restructuring recently.
I'd say that this doesn't take an hour. No, it won't. I mean, isn't a wait of an hour. It will take, oh no, I think,
okay. Okay. Now this is East Street, one of my favourite cafe and food places. Just going through some sort of restructuring, so they're not home today. But they do fresh produce on one side, Ginger and Dobbs, that's what they used to be called, and cafe wine on the next one. Lots of characters around here. Looks like the Galleria is expanding a bit. Very popular Italian restaurant locally, next door to my favourite place, which is the Tap House. This is our local NatWest, who have just announced, by the way, that they're going to be monitoring us for emissions and things, and working out what we're spending and whether we should be spending it on meat. Particularly, they're very upset about meat, and the farmers are very upset about NatWest starting to monitor people's spending and warn them about meat. Anyway, lots of people around here, so I'm going to turn this off now. So I went off to Teddy's, which is my second favourite place. They do fantastic cake, but it was quite early in the morning, so I had some breakfast, treated myself to some breakfast. So I'm now in Teddy's. Teddy's, very, very popular place. And it's very pretty, as you can see. Lots of twigs, I like a nice twig. And yeah, lots of very pretty, very great for cakes here. And I came in here because it's a bit quiet and it's a more traditional spot, and I've been coming in here for a long time. And it was all right, but the little butter pats came rock hard, so it was impossible to spread on your toast. And the other thing that really put me off a little bit was I had to ask for salt and pepper, and when it came, they gave me one teeny tiny envelope of salt and one teeny tiny envelope of pepper, and I couldn't be bothered to ask for any more. So that sort of put me off. I'll be trying next door next time. Probably shouldn't be saying these things or I'll be drummed out of Shoreham. The last time I complained about a cafe in Shoreham, I got absolutely taken apart on the Facebook page. Basically, it was one that isn't open anymore, but they were playing quite loud rock music when I was trying to have a meeting in there with my bank manager. So it made life very difficult. What else do I want to talk about this week? God. Yes, Thursday. So I knew that by Friday, I'd be thinking about my future. Do I want to stay living in a flat in Shoreham, which is expensive, but very, very lovely view, as I've shown you my view a couple of times. I'll show you again here. Or do I want to go and try and travel somewhere or live somewhere else? I've got a bit of an interesting situation in that I work from home, i.e. I mentor people on how to set up businesses and how to market their existing businesses better online. So I've got to have a good internet connection, but I think Starlink's made that a lot better, although it still doesn't work in a wood in Cumbria, which is where my friend lives that I've been helping for the last couple of weeks. He's had to travel to a hotel to upload his videos, so I definitely don't want to be doing that. I could invest in a converted camper van. My son absolutely fell about at this idea because he actually has lived in a converted camper van that he converted back in New Zealand for the last 18 months. And he's busily converting another camper van so that he doesn't have to pay his old mile rent, which is, obviously I can totally understand. But yeah, so what I could buy one that's already been converted. They're about 15 grand, or I could buy a motorhome, an older motorhome, one that's been loved, hopefully. They go for about 5 grand. Interesting, isn't it? Why there's a difference. I imagine it's something to do with the fact that camper vans that have been converted have been set up for, perhaps they're just easy to drive. I don't know. Do you drive a camper van? Have you got a converted camper van? Do you drive a motorhome? Is it hard? Is it easy? Could I get round the hairpin roads of Greece in a motorhome? I must be able to. Lots of Germans and Scandis do it, so why couldn't I? I don't like the thought of it, though, I must say. I don't really want to go and live in Portugal anymore, although I did. I could go and buy a little stone barn and try and convert it. Again, my children fall about when I talk about this stuff because I've watched so many videos. I feel like I know what to do now. But I also know that I'm not very practical, although I have now got a toolbox. So the thought of me doing what I watch other people doing on video is quite laughable, but I have sort of convinced myself that I could do it, although I am utterly terrified of insects that begin with S, to the point that I don't even like to say the name, as if it's going to conjure them up somehow. I'm not great with insects, full stop. So living in a hot country, well, Greece was quite a challenge because I had to be on high alert at all times. But I found that sleeping with a mosquito net helped a lot because at least things can't drop on you in the night. And if you tuck it up under your mattress all around, then it stops things getting in your bed as well. Because I did have a friend who got bitten by something in her bed while she was asleep, and it was quite a nasty bite actually. So I really want to avoid that. But a good solid mosquito net will generally allay most of my fears. And when I'm up and about and awake, I'm not so bad because as long as I've got a spray of something. Stream of consciousness stuff, this one, isn't it? It's gone from the election to my phobias in one fell swoop. But do I want to go and live somewhere permanently? Do I want to be brave and go and get a camper van or a, what's it called? The other thing, I keep forgetting the name of it, and travel about for a bit, because then I could do something like 3 months in Scotland, 3 months in Greece, 3 months in somewhere else in England, because I've realised England's not in Europe yet, although Keir Starmer's talking about taking us back into Europe. But then if he does take us back into Europe, it won't be an issue for me travelling around Europe, will it? I can go to different countries. But that does suppose that I'm a really brave person. I'm not afraid of serial killers, because I am. I've been reading the wrong books for too long, and it makes you wonder if you're safe out there. But then we're all going to die sometime, aren't we? It's just a question of what we're going to die of. Am I going to die in my bed, not having done anything recently exciting? Or am I going to die at the hands of a serial killer on a roadside in my camper van somewhere? That's the question, isn't it? So whatever I do, it's got to have good broadband, or I just have to go somewhere to upload things. So I could record the rest of the time and edit the rest of the time, but not upload if I don't have the signal. It's not the end of the world if you don't have a signal at all times. For the last 30 years, it pretty much has been the end of the world if I hadn't had a signal. In fact, that's what drove me away from Greece in the end. I had 8 weeks. I think I actually talked about this in my previous video, Project the Rest of My Life, where 8 weeks of not having any broadband in the middle of a Greek summer, which you would think would be easy and fun because you'd get on the beach and sit in a taverna and do all those fun things. It's not so great if you can't be connected at home, because it means you have to go out all the time. I think I forgot to say that in my previous video. If you have to go out all the time when you're living in another country, it stops the going out being fun, And it can actually enhance the feeling of loneliness, because although it's lovely to be surrounded by families and things all the time if you're on your own, because it makes you feel less alone, when you have to go out and you can't go home, I think that's what the problem is. I'm a confident introvert. I need to be able to go home, wherever home is, to recharge my batteries. Now, that's all very well if your home is a camper van, because you can just go and get in it. But if you have to travel to go home, and then when you're at home, you're not connected to the people you love, or funnily enough, the TV programs that make you feel like you're at home, because I found that was a big part of it, not being connected, as well as not being able to work. It was not being able to watch the TV programs I like. And I hate to admit that, because I should be able to survive. I should be able to read and do all highbrow stuff like that. And yes, I do enjoy reading, and I do enjoy listening to podcasts, but a lot of that involves being connected, because your Kindle won't work if you're not connected. Your podcast app won't work if you're not connected. You have to be really highly organized to have those things offline. I do have a lot of books down here, actual books. I do love to read big chunky science fiction books. So theoretically, you could always have a stash of those for those times when you're not connected. Where would I go? Well, I definitely love to see more of Italy. I'd love to see more of France. I'd love to see more of Greece. I'd love to Italy, France, Greece. I'd quite like to see places like Croatia now, because they're starting to be rather wonderful. Although that neck of the woods is a little bit more up towards where the war zones are at the moment. So I don't really want to go up there. Where else could I go? I'd love to see Ireland, more of Ireland. So yeah, there's quite a lot going for that idea, I've got to say. And really, the amount of money I could save not having to have a flat in England, it would be astonishing, which would make my nest egg go further. Now, I'm actually expecting my nest egg to be topped up rather dramatically fairly soon, but I do have to think about it, because I've always been self-employed. I had a tiny pension, which matured just after Steve died. So I cashed it in because I wanted to be able to focus on getting better after that without having to work if I didn't need to. So I knew I could go back to work whenever I needed to, but I wanted some time off then. So that's why I keep earning, apart from the fact I absolutely love it. I love working with my clients. I heard from another client today after about 7 months who wants me to help him get his book on Amazon and promote it and do the AdWord campaign for it and all that good stuff, redo his websites, and just have a wonderful time helping him get his book out into the world. And it's a book about Bitcoin, which I absolutely love too. So, I'm really interested in my work. I absolutely love working with the clients I do. They're all experts of different kinds. That's what I really like about it. They're all knowledgeable or expert in different things. So I've got a community of my clients. I've got a community of my peers. I think that's the other thing. One of my peers who I was very fond of, Alan Forrest Smith, died last week. It was sudden. It was really quick. Brilliant copywriter, brilliant marketer, brilliant businessman. Just fallen in love about 10 years ago, had 2 wonderful children. And really, it's very, very sad that he's gone. And I think he was only 61, so he's younger than me. I'm 62 at the moment. And it sounds weird to say that, because I really don't feel it. I feel like late 30s, mid 40s. That's how old I feel. So that's why I'm still torturing myself that I should be off having adventures. I can't quite seem to see myself as settling down yet. Anyway, Alan dying made me think about all this stuff quite a lot. And then the results of the election, which are going to it's going to make Great Britain hell for the next 4 or 5 years, because all of the World Economic Forum agendas are going to be pushed through faster and faster and faster. And the public sitting at home thinking that's shown them, and they don't actually realise that actually they've swapped one devil for another, a worse devil, someone who's got worse things in store for us as ordinary people. And I don't really want to be sitting at home not going out in an expensive flat while all that happens, watching that happens, just waiting for the next axe to fall, because there will be a series of them. Digital IDs, central bank digital currencies, 15-minute cities, not being able to travel abroad, not being able to have your own car. That's going to get harder and harder and harder. So there's a number of things. Oh yeah, the avian flu and the what's it called? The experimental injectables that will come with that. And remember, Starmer was very keen on compulsory injectables last time, and also very keen on punishing people who didn't want to go along with that. Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? See how that pushes the buttons of the British people when he tries that one. Anyway, coming back to me, because this channel is all about me and you. And I want to know your comments on everything I say down below. I want you to tell me what you're thinking. I want you to tell me what you're thinking when you watch this. Yeah, so I haven't come to any conclusions. What I have done is I've had a great week this week on my own marketing. I've done all the things I wanted to do except for one, which was going live on Facebook. I can't quite work out how to do it because I can't set up an event, and I'm not sure why not. So I'll have to talk to my mentor about that. It might be that I've said too many things too forthrightly, shall we say, on my Facebook profile, and they've put some sort of do not let this woman go live under any circumstances notice on my account. I'll figure it out this week, but I've done everything else except that one thing, so I'm feeling pretty pleased with myself. What I wanted to do was I wanted to do a weekly Facebook show where I talk through what worked, what didn't, and what am I doing differently, because I think that would be quite a nice accountability show for everyone, and we could get an accountability group going, and you know, that could be quite fun. But I need to figure out how to go live without it being on my phone, because if it's on my phone, everyone can see my background, and I don't want everyone seeing my background, because people judge people. They judge people on where they live, they judge people on what they look like, they judge people on what they wear, and all that stuff. So I want no judgment. I just want it to be about the content. That means going live only on Zoom or using OBS, which is Open Broadcast System, which is free. But I've got Zoom and I like the way it makes this fuzzy background. So that's something I haven't achieved this week. The other thing I haven't achieved this week is going out every day because the weather's been so bad. Guess why? We all know why, don't we? I'll flash it up on the screen so you can know what I think it is. And in fact, there's various patents out. They're actually advertising job for pilots to do the thing that we're not allowed to talk about. I just hope that something happens soon to stop them, because we are now 1 week into July and it's been constant grey cloud cover. And I'm fed up with it. Are you fed up with it? I'm fed up with it. My tomatoes, they're not going anywhere. The marigolds I planted literally germinated, and I can see this little leaf poking out, but water them as I do and move them around into the sun as I do, they're just not growing. It's like they've gone into suspended animation, and I know that a lot of our other crops will have done. That's another thing I'm trying to resist. I've got a fantastic business idea for a local businessman, and I'm trying to resist that. I'm trying to keep all my focus on just my business and just this new YouTube channel. Focusing so hard when you're an entrepreneur, you just get distracted by everything. That's it. That's my first real sort of episode, if you like, of Swagger and Soul. I'm thinking about what to do next. I'm thinking about whether to stay put or go traveling. And if I'm going to go traveling, am I going to do it in a camper van or a motorhome? I like the look of the motorhomes better. There's more room inside them. My son Nelson had an absolute heart attack fit of laughing at the idea of me shuffling around in a camper van. He says, just not enough room, Ma, just not enough room. So I am trying to lose weight at the moment and it's going quite well. So, but I'm a little way off being able to fit into a camper van easily, apparently. Anyway, on that more humorous note, I'll say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see your comments underneath. Do subscribe and like to the channel if you like the, subscribe and you want to just keep up. It might be rubbish. I might give up. You might hate it, but just subscribe anyway, just so that the algorithms get to know what kind of people are remotely interested in the ramblings and ravings of a mad woman. And yeah, if you did like this, then give us a like, because that helps the algorithm. And then do comment below, because again, that really helps, and I will reply to every single person. Are you having thoughts like I'm having? Are you wondering what to do with the rest of your life? Are you wondering what you could do when you grow up? Even though you're probably the same age as me if you're watching this. Anyway, I'll see you very soon. I'm hoping to go twice a week. We'll see how it goes.